record to this computer. We are recording, and I promise that I am not going to be talking very much. Obviously. But fortunately, Erin Morris, who is one of my nearest and dearest, one of my very first coaches on this team, is going to be leading the way for us tonight. I'm super excited. So thank you. You guys, today is Wednesday, November 29th. Holy baloney. So awesome. You guys, November has been so beautiful, and I'm so proud of the way that everybody has shown up. There's been a ton of growth this year. Like, holy cow, so much growth this year. And over the past 2 months, things have been like totally bonkers in like the world. But I have seen people dig into this team and dig into themselves and dig into their purpose in a way that I really have not witnessed in a long time. And it feels so good. Like, I'm so proud. I just can't wait to see what this like foundation reestablishment for people is going to do for people as we progress through this month into December, into 2018. Like, holy powerful. And so that is actually a perfect segue to bring in Erin, who is just going to let it rain with all her Erinness tonight. But she's going to be talking about up-leveling. She's going to be talking about giving people the grace to do so, helping people along the way. Erin has literally been with me since almost the beginning of my coaching journey, for anyone who doesn't know her well yet. She is one of my Star Diamond coaches. She is just she's a mom of 4 going on 400, and like, she is a newly working woman again outside of the home, bringing Beachbody back to the forefront. Like, she's going to share all of it, but Erin is just like if Erin had a slogan, it would be loves Jesus, drops the F-bomb a lot. Like, that would be Erin's slogan. So without further ado,
oh my gosh,
stop talking.
And you know what? Right? And I own that. Like, that's one of my judgments. Like I talked about, and like, I totally own that because that's exactly who I am. Like, and I have a tendency to drink way too much wine. So it's, it's all about balance. It's just all about balance. You got to balance it out. But don't worry, I did not drink a ton of wine today, so we're good. So this is gonna be fine. You're so sweet though. I love you so much.
I love you.
Yeah. So Jillian's right. So I've been doing this for a little over 3 years. That sounds really weird to say that. And I totally had a step back moment. Like, I really did. I had a major step back moment back in, I would probably say it was really July and August. So like she shared, I went back to work, and, I stayed at home for 8 years with my kids, which is like a really, really long time. And when you go back into the real world, as I like to call it, it was a major adjustment. And I told myself that it would be a major adjustment, but I didn't realize what it was going to actually really truly be like, because you don't until you're in it, which is why I think the reason I came up with this topic tonight, it's really because of the opportunity of being able to go back to work going back to a job outside the home. I'm very careful about that because I work my freaking tail off day in and day out. And I have, even for the last 8 years, but it gave me the opportunity to, I feel like, get to this point where I'm at. So while I could say I'll call it a step back, but it's definitely not a step back, because I feel like really and truly it's opened up so much more for me. But I fell into the land of excuses. And I've been telling Jillian for 3 months now, okay, well, I'm going to do it this week. Okay, well, I'm going to get back into it this week. I'm going to get back into it this week. But so here's the deal. So allowing others the opportunity to level up. Okay, this is where I got to thinking, because by starting this outside of the house job, it put me back into that mindset of what it must be like, right, for people that are joining us. It's a major adjustment. It's a major adjustment. And I'm just going to share some personal experience here. And, one of the things that I have done in the past is I open up these groups, right? And I put certain things out there on Facebook, and I get these people and they join me, and then they join my group, and I'm like, what is their deal? They're nothing like me. Like, why aren't we connecting? Why is this group not running so smoothly? Why is no one else fired up? How come nobody else is like psychotically excited like I am? Like, how come people don't see all of these amazing and great things? And it's because I failed, okay, at allowing them the opportunity to level up. And let me tell you where I really saw this. I saw this, and this came to me as I was doing Jillian's journal, and I will plug this every stinking opportunity I have if you haven't gotten it yet. And no, she doesn't tell me to do this, just so you know. If you have not got it yet, I strongly suggest that you put it on your Christmas list. And you can still be successful at doing it, even if you don't follow it day to day like it says to. I'm on day 4, and I think today it's like day 8 or 9. But it's because I've taken the time, and I've found myself going back. And if I'm not done my thought, I need to go back into it. So what I realized the other day was I have all these goals set for my life, right? And one of the things that I falter in is that I'm always like, why isn't my husband on board? Why isn't my husband on board? Why aren't these people that are near and dear to me? Why aren't they on board? Why aren't they on board? Why? And it's because I don't ever allow them the opportunity to like get at my level. I worked 3 years, okay? Really and truly put in 3 years of mental work, of personal development, of starting programs, completing programs, starting programs, and not finishing programs. I've never stopped Shakeology, so I can't say that because I think people that stop Shakeology are absolutely insane. So I don't know that mindset, and I never will because I can't live without it personally. So there's that. But I wholeheartedly like Shakeology is one of the reasons I've never gone completely off the rails in 3 years, and like I stand by that 110% because you just can't live without it. I just don't know how people do. But so that was one of the things that I realized in myself, right, by taking that step back is like, oh my gosh, Erin, you put out this certain vibe, right? Like, come join me, come join me, come join me. And then I expect these people to jump in, and I expect them to be where I'm at. And that's totally unfair. Yes, to other people, but also to myself, because I'm missing out on the opportunity of really truly being able to build people up. And so, I guess one of the things that I was thinking about earlier today, because I have my new group will be starting. I'll be advertising my first group, and it's been months since I've done it. And the only way I know how to do it is to allow people to come in with the expectation of, I'm here for you, right? Like, I'm going to help you through this, but I'm going to also let you do it in your time frame, right? Because, and I hope that this doesn't like totally go against what I know a lot of people believe, but I was thinking about Jillian's journal and how, yeah, you're supposed to do every day, right? But what about what about people like me whose brains are like, oh, wait a minute. No, I got to think about this. I got to do this. I'm allowing myself the opportunity to level up to where Jillian's at. Because see, when I look at that journal, that's Jillian's level, right? Okay, but I'm not there. I'm not there yet, and that's okay. So by taking my time, I'm allowing myself that opportunity to level up. So what if I went into my challenge group and I said, hey, here you go. These are the programs that are available. I know that this says 21-day fix. I know that this says that you have to work out 7 days a week. Not everybody comes in as fired up as we are. So what if instead I said, hey, here's the tools, Okay. These are the ones that you have to use every day. You got to use those containers. You got to drink your shake. But I'm going to help you get to that level. I'm going to help you get to that level where you want to wake up and work out every day, where you go to bed at the end of the day going, I really wish I had done that workout today. Or you don't go to sleep until you do that workout because you know you just have to get it in because you want to get it in. Or you go to bed excited about the fact that you're sore and you're tired and you're still going to get up and you're going to push through and you're going to work out and you're going to press play on the next day. Because I just am in this season of life where it's like, okay, I'm going to step back into coaching. And I think this is something good for new coaches too, is that you have to allow yourself to get to, allow yourself the opportunity to get to that level. A lot of us are big personal development junkies, right? Okay, well, 3 years ago, I was not a personal development junkie. I thought it was absolutely insane. And even 2 years ago, I would fall off and on of personal development. And it's one of those things. You level up to it. You realize that you actually can't function in life without some type of PD. But again, you have to allow yourself to get to that level. So when your challengers come in, or when you have new people come in, or you have new coaches come in, I think that one of the best things that we can do to serve them is to make sure that, we're setting them up with personal development so they can get that level, but remembering that it takes time, and that you have to give them the opportunity, to get used to that, to add that into their routine, because it doesn't always have a very high light on it, because people don't understand it until they're in it, I feel like. And as a coach, you want to know what the best thing I feel like we could do for people is, when you have someone that's struggling with PD, finding short things to send them. One of the things that Carrie, who is one of my personal coaches, what she does all the time, and I love her for it. And I do it in return also, although hers are always so sweet and God-centered. And then I'm sending Gary Vaynerchuk, who's dropping F-bomb every 5 seconds. But, but I will send them. Things. I will see what they have posted on Facebook. And I used to be really good about it. And then again, I had the step back. But like today was a perfect example. I had 2 people. I listened to this thing, and it was 2 of my coaches. And I was like, I'm going to send that to them because they need that. And that's personal development for them. And that's me giving them the opportunity to level up without, I'm helping them. That's what I'm supposed to be doing. But I think I'm just realizing more and more, because I think I'm in a place of allowing myself once again to be in that place of, hey, it's okay, that you're going to give yourself that time, and you're going to give yourself that space to start here again. I'm still here, but there's just certain things that I need to do to give myself the opportunity to really just feel like leveled. I'm a little bit unbalanced right now, which is okay, because I'm also having these like amazing moments of like, this is what I need to do. Oh my gosh, this brings me back to when I first started. Or, oh my gosh, this must be what it feels like to step into this, and I didn't have that fear, like 3 years ago, and I know the other day I talked about, the judgments, and it was crazy. When I first started as a coach, I had zero fear, none. It was like, I was okay. I was owning my stuff. I was throwing it out there, and it was great. And then all of a sudden, it was one of those things where I was like, ooh, what's going on? But I found myself back in that place of, no, I'm good. I know who I am. I know what I do. I know I have a really big purpose to fill, and I'm filling it right now. But I have so much more that needs to be done. And I just need to allow myself that opportunity to get there. So I feel like this was more of like a, hey, let me share my life story with you type of
No,
talk.
it was super insightful. So now let me just like guide you with a couple questions here because this is so
Yeah.
good. And like, so it's like, remember to remember, right? So, and that's from your perspective and maybe my perspective, but like, so for the newer coaches on the team, what do you feel like needs to be shared in order for them to feel like, oh, like, this is okay. We get to be real people throughout this because I think that we see the names. I just were thinking back to when I was a new coach, like you see the names and the glittery lights and you see all this stuff, like, but we forget that we actually have feelings and that should be honored. And just because this is your story doesn't mean it has to be somebody else's story, right? Because in fact, we all have different stories. Some of us come into
Mhm.
this business guns blazing, and then
Yeah.
people die out right away. Some people come into this business slow and steady, and they grow. Some people come into this business, they go, they dip, they go, they dip. Like it's life,
That's
right?
true.
It's
Right.
life. So
Yeah.
I feel like it's just, could you just expand upon the whole notion of like freaking go for it, set your goals, go for it, but also like don't forget to like be true to you throughout the process too.
Yeah, I think I'm trying to think of how I would, okay, so that's interesting because, mm, mm,
Whatever's there, what's on top.
no, I think that what's on top and what's interesting is that like I've always had that big goal has never changed, which is interesting, right? And even though that there's been changes in life, that big goal has never changed, and I think that that's one of the reasons I've always stayed.
Mm.
Because even Rick will say, this is the most consistent thing you've ever done. I mean, Rick and I are going on being married for 9 years. So, and my parents will say the same thing. Like this is the one thing that you've stuck with. And even though I've had the ups and downs, and even though I've had the highs and the lows, that is a part of my story. And it's funny, I've always called myself inconsistent, but even in my most inconsistent moments, there's still been, it's never totally dropped off. So
Yeah.
maybe the word inconsistent should just be erased from my vocabulary because I'm still here and I've always been here. I've just had different moments. And I think it's okay. I personally think it's okay to have those moments because again, in a step back, in stepping out and reevaluating, right? You learn a lot about yourself. The one thing I would say though is don't step back and reevaluate for too long. Because when you step back for too long, it becomes too hard, it becomes harder to get back in. And that's the lesson that I just learned this go around of it was way too long of a time period, and the whole time weighing on my heart is there's something missing. There's something missing. And as much as I tried to avoid or ignore what it was, it kept coming back to it's coaching. It's coaching because you don't become a Beachbody coach by accident. Like it's not an accident. People that become Beachbody coaches, and I'll say this actually truly about people that join most MLM companies, right? Because you have to be a pretty special person to do stuff like this. It's a calling. Like something like this is a calling. And I know that a lot, there can be a lot of negative things said about it, but until you're in something, you don't know what it's like. And so, you are just, it is a calling. So you're meant to be here. So no matter how many highs and lows, right? Like you'll stay, you're still going to be here, but I would say set that really big, that dream, that big dream of, because we know what this can do for us, right? We've seen other people do it. Use that as a motivator. Stick with your own story. But without that dream, it's going to be really hard. I mean, it's going to be hard to stay in it. You got to set that big dream. And me, for those that don't know, the dream for me is Before it used to be when my husband retires, we're all going to move to the beach. It's a little bit different now. God called me into something else and I have to fulfill that. And that's what I'm doing right now. And I'm going to do this too. But it's still that beach house. And I might still be doing the two very jobs that I'm doing right now and still be in that beach house. My husband will retire and we can still be in that beach house while he's doing something else. But that beach house, that family dream that I have is like, that's what keeps me going every day.
Yeah.
Even in the moments of those step back moments. I don't know if that really answered what you.
Yeah, that was great. Could you speak to fear a little bit?
Yeah. Let me tell you something about fear. It's a huge waste of time.
Did you like how I didn't even ask follow-up clarification? Like, just speak to fear.
Yeah. No. Okay. So it's a huge waste of time. But let me tell you, fear is something, and again, Jillian's journal. Okay, so in her journal, I'm pretty sure fear is on day 3. And I remember opening that and being like, dude, seriously? We're going to get into this right now?
Oh, yeah, we went right in right away.
Yeah, we went right in right away. And let me tell you what, I listed out my fears and I needed more sheets of paper. So there was that, but that's a personal issue, not a Jillian book issue. That's a personal issue.
That'll be what's it called? Subscription to, or what's the word I'm looking for?
You need fillers. There you go. There's an upsell. Get you some little fillers that people can just stick right on in there so that they can just keep writing. But yeah, so I wrote my fears down and they sat on that paper for 2 or 3 days and they just kept growing and growing and growing. Because in that section, it was also like, okay, well, what's on the other side of that? Like, what if you were to really just let it go, right? Like, let all those things go. What's on the other side? And here's the bottom line. If I waste any more of my time, and I say that, and I mean wholeheartedly, if I waste any more of my time on my fears, I will never, ever reach my full potential. I will never reach any of the goals that I set for myself. And what's funny is that a lot of the fears that I have, that I realized, are based upon, okay, what others think, okay, and which is funny, which is where the whole like own your judgment thing came up, because I was like, damn, what do I really have to be fearful of? Like, I'm not a horrible person, right? What am I afraid of? Like, someone's telling me that I'm too happy. I actually had someone tell me that at school. They're like, why do you smile so much? Why wouldn't I smile? I have nothing to be miserable about. I have super cute shoes on today. My outfit is great. My kids are alive. My husband loves me. I mean, that alone in itself is amazing. I have a house. I have a car. Like, there are so many things. And all these moments, realizing what people have said to me in the past, and it's like, I have a fear of being judged for being happy. I have a fear of being judged for being positive. I have a fear of being judged for being too loud when I'm happy. What? That's insane. Who's afraid of those things? But then one of my biggest fears, and I'll just go ahead and share it with you guys, because why not? I'm an open book. I shared it with Jillian the other day. One of my biggest fears is that I will grow, right? And this is one of my major setbacks in business, is that I'm going to really launch and continue to grow myself and really level myself up. And my biggest fear is that my husband is not going to come with me and that my marriage will fall apart. And that's one of the biggest things that has been holding me back from continuing. So that's my brick wall. My brick wall is that. And I actually can't even believe that I ever shared that with all of you guys, but that's okay. But that's also why I came upstairs, because I kind of had a feeling I was going to share it. And I didn't want him to hear that, because I haven't shared that with him yet. So that'll come next. But that was one of my biggest fears. And the thing is, though, on the other side of that is that what I want for myself is also what I want for my husband, because I want it for my family. And if I don't bring myself to a new level, I can't I can't carry Rick with me. I can't carry my kids with me. And I want my kids to grow up and be productive human beings. And let me tell you, working in a school system, okay, there ain't going to be a whole lot of those. All right. Because they're not getting at home what I know my kids are getting. And if I don't do that, if I don't level up and I live based upon those fears, I mean, these people are the most important people in the world to me. So, that was a tough one to like put on paper though, because it makes you feel not good when you say it out loud. But the more you process through it, you're like, oh my God, yeah, So, um, fears are just a huge waste of time, a huge waste of time.
Well, and so for
Yeah.
you with that, like it's so powerful, and thank you for being so vulnerable and sharing that. But you had the realization of like, that's just fear. That's not the truth. There's no
Mm-mm.
truth to that. I am
Mm-mm.
creating this magnificent story of baloney in my head based on my own self-limiting beliefs. So I'm going to project that forward onto my marriage, onto my kids. And it's not based on truth. And so when you had that moment that you that you realize like, oh my gosh, but if I'm not the one to take the first step, then we're all going to be staying on the same level of the staircase for our whole lives. And we don't want that. And then what did I say back to you? I said that you take the first step, you grab Rick's hand and you pull him up to the step and you give him the opportunity to go with you, but also maybe he's going to take a step ahead of you at some point, and you'll still and he'll
Right.
still have your hand, and you'll go up next to him. That's what life is about. That's what truth is about, is that forward momentum and that forward knowledge. And I just want to like bring this back around like full circle. You guys, we're on a freaking team call for Beachbody. We're on a team call for helping people with their fitness, their wellness, their nutrition, and Shakeology, right? But like, listen to this. To Erin's point of like, you are not here just because, like, you are, like, there is a very divine reason that you are here, because what we do is so much bigger and deeper than freaking selling people shakes, getting them hooked up with P90X, and then like pressing on with life. Like, people don't do this. They don't commune on a Wednesday night at 9 p.m. to talk deep level stuff with like evacuating the fear, with like telling the truth of like, yeah, sometimes it's not rainbows and butterflies, but other times it is. So you ride the waves, you understand you're a human
Mhm.
being throughout it all. You're actually a soul having a human experience throughout it all, if you want to get into like what Jillian really feels about things. And we're doing the deep level work, and we're doing the deep level work so that we can stand in front of the people that we love. We can stand in front of our family, stand in front of our clients and say, I did it, so I know I can help you do it. That's what we're doing right
Mhm.
here, people. We are not here to sell freaking portion fixed container systems to people. We are here to change people's lives, and the only way to do that is to change our own, which includes calling ourselves on our crap sometimes. It includes embracing ourselves and celebrating when we are feeling really good, when we're doing really good stuff and we're feeling the flow. All of it is part of the life experience, guys. That's what brings us here. And Erin, thank God, was able to share these amazing truths with us tonight of like, you get the opportunity to up level your life all the time. And guess what? That's what we get paid to do as coaches. And guess what else? It should be fun. It should be fun. And if it doesn't feel
Mhm.
fun, then there's the reevaluation opportunity that Erin was talking about. There's the opportunity to say, whoa, what doesn't feel in alignment right now? What can I do here to shift things around? What's the
Yeah.
calling that's coming through me? Right? Like, that's huge.
Um, so I just had a thought, and I just need to throw it out there really quick, because one of the things too, when I talk, and I guess this is more from like a, well, yeah, this is like a coach standpoint, obviously more than just like an Erin thing, but challenge groups. That was one of the things that I really had to step back and reevaluate. And I opened up a challenge group for coaches on my team, right? Because, and this is what I said, and I did this before. So this has been going on for a couple, I guess for maybe about a month, maybe a little bit longer than that, because I needed a way to get back into it. So I was like, all right, I'm going to go to my people. And in that group, I said, this is a group where we can just be like completely honest. Like, we don't feel like we have to be perfect. We can make the mistakes. We can eat the pizza. We can come in here and talk about it, all these different things, right? So today, as I'm typing into the group that I ate pizza, which I will literally never do again because I will now be dying for the rest of the night. Yeah. I like, when you just know you're not supposed, like, but you do it anyways because you're like, well, maybe this one time it won't be that bad. No. But anyways, that's neither here nor there. But the thought I had was like, oh my God, Erin, what are you doing? Like, why aren't you running your everyday challenge groups like this? Why are you not sharing these things with people? Because I think what happened before and what kind of kept me from wanting to grow the challenge groups was like, it never felt right. It just didn't feel right. I'm like, okay, yes, I love to work out, right? Like, I love core to force right now. That's what I finally decided that I needed to do, right? And I love Shakeology. We know that. And I love eating healthy. I love making up my own recipes, and they're usually super basic and super mom friendly. But then, like, I just like to talk to people. Like, I want to know what's going on in your day. I want to know how crazy your kids are. Like, I want to come and I want to tell you about my kid dropping the stinking F-bomb in the middle of the pool while we're at the beach and thinking that that's okay. And then I'm like, you can't do that. But they're like, well, Mom, you say it all the time. Awesome. That should be in my challenge group. Those are the things that you can talk about too. And that's actually a true story. I wish I could tell you that it's not. That is a true story. There was something else that happened too where I was like, so as a parent, like, how mad do you get at your kid when you know it came straight from you? So we had to have a good conversation. And I've learned that I really do have to like clean it up until after hours. Like, so anyways, but that's not what this is about either. But like, those are things that my challengers need to know. Because when I tell you that story, do you not feel like you know a little bit more about me? Do you not feel like, oh, I could totally have a conversation with this girl? Or, oh, I could totally message her and tell her all my stuff. I could tell her all my stuff, all my problems. And she's not going to come to me and she's not going to just say, okay, well, you need to drink your shake and you need to do your containers and you need to work out, like, it doesn't always have to be super fitnessy. Like, you don't have to become, and I always say this, the next Danielle Natoni. She is super fit, but that's her thing. And I didn't realize this, but she's always been into fitness. When she was a teacher, she was teaching fitness. Like, it's always been a part of her life. Like, I thought she was just like, and then you come to find out, I'm not Danielle Latone. I never taught a fitness class in my entire life. Like, that's not who I am. But that doesn't matter because I can still love and support you with Shaco and programs and containers and easy meals and all those fun things. And then everything else in between, because it has to be about life. Mm-hmm. And that's what I've realized, is that it has to be about life, not just fitness. Mm-hmm. And nutrition. Like, it's got to be about life. Mm-hmm. So Jess, and actually that was because I saw, where did you write it? I was reading it. Okay. About how people in my group aren't like crazy. I don't know. I'm not in your group, so I don't know what it's like, but throw out some random stuff that you maybe think is like not something that should be in a challenge group. I would throw it out there. Because, like, that's one of the things that people love about you. I know that when I go to Jess's Facebook page, when I'm, like, feeling a moment, I'll go there and she'll drop some type of bomb, right? Like, not always F-bombs. Any type of bomb, but that's one of the reasons I love her, obviously. And I know that I'm going to go there and get, like, a real dose of, like, oh, this is real life. Like, this girl gets it. you know, and yeah.
Yeah. So good. All
That
right.
was a tangent. Sorry, guys.
No, that was so good. Hey, let's wrap this up with what are you grateful for?
What am I grateful for? Is that every single day is legit a brand new opportunity. And at any point in time, I my fingers and say, okay, this is what I'm doing. And I can just go with it because there's nothing that's actually stopping me from doing anything I want.
Amen. 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 I love it.
Yeah.
Do you have any, you cut out, do you have any last thoughts or anything else that you want to share?
I feel like I just talked a lot about a lot of random crap. So I
No,
hope.
it was fluid. I got the circle. We went full
Oh
circle
my God. I love the way my brain works. Where did everybody, did I just X out or no, I'm still here. Okay. No, I just think that, well, one, I'm going to say that if you don't have the journal yet, you need to go get it. And I'm going to tell everybody that every single opportunity that I get, because I'm serious about it. But I just think that the whole idea of like really just working through those fears, writing them down, get them on paper, let it sit. You don't have to figure it out in one day. It does not have to be done in one day. But figure out what they really, really are, because until you do that, it's going to be, it's hard to move forward. And once they're on there, I mean, that's the biggest thing, is taking that step. Like it says, you've just let them go. Like, just let them go.
Surrender them up. They're not helping you.
Mm-mm.
They're not helping you.
No good. No bueno.
Okay, you guys, this was amazing. If you have any like follow up, like I need some Erin knowledge on this, please post it in the team page and tag her. Right? Like, let's just do that.
Yeah, tag me.
It's going.
Here's
Tag
the thing,
Erin.
don't tag me. I'll never, like, I just won't see it. That's the honest to goodness truth, because I have to be more diligent about my Facebook times. So you have to tag me in it. Otherwise, I won't necessarily pay attention to it. That's just.
No, absolutely. No, that goes, I mean, that's the same for everybody. Nobody's scrolling every single news feed in every single group that they're in. So make sure we're tagging. But seriously, you guys, like, put it out there. Up-level your people. Give them the space and the grace to up-level. Give yourself the grace and the space to up-level. And if you need us, we've got the team page. Tag us. Post something good. Post something inspirational if it's feeling good for you. And just know your truth. Start to get to know it every single day and watch how that changes the trajectory of the lives of so many other people. Mic drop.
Amen.
All right, you guys, have an amazing night. Thank you so much for being on the call. Thank you, Erin. I really, you rocked it.
Thank you, guys. Thank you.
All
right, love you all.
Wednesday. Bye, everybody.
Bye.